You know what's hilarious? Every time Democrats start lecturing about racism, slavery, and the oppression of black people, they somehow conveniently forget to mention that their own party was the driving force behind it all. They skip right over the fact that Democrats were the ones defending slavery, founding the KKK, enforcing Jim Crow, and fighting tooth and nail against civil rights. And don't even get me started on the heroes they worship, like Margaret Sanger, a literal eugenicist who openly wanted to exterminate the black population. Yeah, real progressive icon right there. No wonder they push social justice in schools instead of actual history. If kids learned the real story, they might notice that the same people screaming about oppression today are the direct political descendants of the actual oppressors. It's not education, it's damage control. Let's talk about it. As an investigative journalist, I don't use fake internet quotes. I only use the actual receipts. So let's look at what Margaret Sanger literally wrote in her 1920 book, Woman and the New Race. She said, "The most merciful thing that the large family does to one of its infant members is to kill it." Yeah, she actually wrote that. She didn't stop there. In 1934, she published an article demanding that humans should require a government permit to reproduce. She wrote that a marriage license should only give you the right to a common household, not the right to be a parent. Sanger was utterly obsessed with creating a, quote, cleaner race. In 1932, she literally proposed offering a yearly pension to pay unfit parents to allow themselves to be scientifically sterilized by the government. She wanted to bribe the poor into extinction, and the Democrats have spent decades honoring this woman. They gave Hillary Clinton and Nancy Pelosi the Margaret Sanger Award. They happily accepted an award named after a woman who openly bragged in her autobiography about speaking to the Ku Klux Klan in 1926. Sanger proudly wrote that her KKK speech was such a massive success that she received a dozen more invitations to speak to similar white supremacist groups. This is the woman the modern left reveres. It is absolutely sickening. Then we have the infamous Negro Project of 1939. Sanger specifically targeted the black population in the South. In a letter to Dr. Clarence Gamble, she wrote, "We do not want word to go out that we want to exterminate the Negro population." Apologists try to spin that quote, claiming she was just worried about a misunderstanding. Give me a break. When you look at her entire worldview built on eugenics and racial purity, her dark intent was crystal clear. But here is the most devastating part. If you look past her 1930s rhetoric and audit the modern institutional legacy of Planned Parenthood today, her eugenics dream is a mathematical reality. Just look at the CDC data. According to the CDC's 2021 abortion surveillance data, the racial breakdown of abortions in the United States is heavily, disproportionately skewed toward minority populations. The statistics are horrifying. Black women make up only about 13 to 14% of the total U.S. female population. Yet, according to the CDC, they account for 41.5% of all abortions in the country. The abortion rate for black women is 28.6 per 1,000 women. That is 4.6 times higher than the rate for white women, which sits at just 6.2. Sanger's system is operating exactly as she designed it. The legacy media and the Democrat Party protected her image for as long as they could. But as the digital age made her raw eugenics writings impossible to hide, the organization finally started to panic. In 2020, Planned Parenthood of Greater New York was forced to remove Margaret Sanger's name from their Manhattan clinic. They finally had to admit to her contributions to historical reproductive harm within communities of color. They took her name off the building, but they kept the billions of taxpayer dollars flowing into her infrastructure. We need a full federal audit of Title X funds to expose why this disproportionate racial targeting is still funded by the American taxpayer. Margaret Sanger was a racist eugenicist and the Democrat Party spent decades worshiping her. Don't let them rewrite history, and don't let them hide the receipts. Truth over feelings. Always.